Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at the Figurise standard Suletta Mercury from the new Gundam series Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Now, I'm going to start this review off by saying I am absolutely flabbergasted by how awesome this is. I was almost going to take a pass on it, and I am super glad that I did not. This is absolutely incredible. Bandai keeps raising the game every single time it releases one of these figure-style model kits. And honestly, I should have known it would have been this good, but I am still shocked. I mean, thinking all the way back to those original Gundam Girl model kits they made, that's the China guy, the Fumina, all those absolute nightmare fuel, hollow, horrible kits, all the way through to the Build Divers kits, the new Fumina, and finally to this right here. This is essentially giving something like Figma or other figures a run for their money, especially when it comes to your budget. This comes in at $25, which compared to the Gundam kits is a little on the pricey side, but compared to what Japanese companies are actually charging for anime action figures nowadays is an absolute steal. But of course, you do have to build it yourself. This video once again was sponsored by those absolutely awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan, so if you do want one of these of your own, or for all your Gundam and Gunpla needs, link is down there in the description. Now let's get right into it. So jumping now into the aesthetics, and I'm going to go through this in a little bit of a stage-by-stage process like I've been doing lately. First off, I'm going to talk about what this kit looks like just out of the box, straight built. And just in case you're coming into this video not really all that up to date with model kits, what I mean by straight built is just what you will get from this kit if you just nip it off the runners with the nipper and just slap it together with no additional effort. This right here is what you get, including the eyes, including those shiny aspects on her uniform. This thing is ridiculous. So on actually cracking open the box, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. First up, we've got the plastic, which is 5 runners dedicated to Suletta herself, all of which are super detailed. The color separation in here is fantastic, and the actual colors themselves are very vivid and beautiful. On top of that, we do also have a full stand in here, an action base even, for posing her on, which to me is an absolutely awesome extra. Always nice to see that. This kit is super simple, so even if you are a beginner with just a simple nipper, you'll have absolutely no issue putting this together at all. It is quite simple, but like a lot of Bandai's kits lately, is deceptively detailed compared to the amount of actual plastic that goes into it. Everything just pops together as a bunch of fairly simple elements. The only thing that has a whole lot of detail is her hair, which you can totally see. And we've got some very unique extras in here, some of which I've never seen in a model kit ever before. So first up, we do have a bunch of stickers for actually adding the detail onto her uniform. We have the classic style stickers, which is just a regular old sticker you slap on there, and we've got some really cool ones. These are referred to as metallic engraving stickers. Now these can be a little bit difficult to apply. That's probably why they had the option of standard stickers too. These are essentially like the dry decals of old. If you've built some older master grades, there's these kind of decals you just stick to the surface and then rub the crap out of the plastic that is attaching them, and then they're just left on the surface. That is what you do here. Cut these out quite evenly, as in cut very close to the actual detail, put it onto the surface that you want it onto, then you'd rub the absolute crap out of the backing plastic, then peel it away gently, and it stays on the surface looking so good. These are like nothing I have ever seen before. Bandai, once again, raising the game. Next up, the face on this kit has ridiculous detail. Now this comes on the runner printed like this, so that means her resting face right here does look like this. Now we do have some additional faces in here which I'll take a look at later. I'll pop in some footage right now of what they actually look like. We've got this one and this one. I did mess around with them a little bit, but winding back to the actual build on those, these actually come on the runner looking pretty hilarious because they're just a blank face. You actually assemble the mouth into them from behind, and then the eyes have to be stuck on as water slide decals. If you don't know what water slide decals are, you just cut them out like so, dip them in warm water for about 3 seconds, then you place them onto the surface, dry them off, and if they are getting a little bit funky on you like they were on me, kind of trying to raise off the face, I recommend using some of Bandai's Mark Setter, which melts the decals onto the face, and then finish it off with a little bit of matte top coat to well, protect them forever. So I assume everyone who builds this kit is going to do exactly what the manual says, which is stick the B eyes on the B face and the C eyes on the C face. So I decided to shake it up a little bit and actually put the C eyes on the B face and the B eyes on the C face, just to see what we end up with. And I'll talk about that later. But yeah, once you finally get her put together, this is what she looks like I said, straight built. This doesn't even include the faces that require the extra detailing, as in the putting on the water slide decals. This is just all cut out and put together. So this is the standard face, comes like this in the box. Everything you're seeing right here comes like this in the box, so it does look phenomenal. So if you were worrying about if you needed some extra skills, anything like that in order to put this together, you absolutely do not. Those little stickers on the chest can be a little bit difficult, but if you're careful, you'll get them done perfectly. This is an absolutely wild looking kit. It looks ridiculously perfect. The face is absolutely gorgeous. The eyes have been done to perfection. And then this right here is what I did in the end. Now, if I actually get around to top coating this before I actually upload the video, I will pop this up with the top coat on it. I like to mattify everything on my gunpla and, well, action figure style model kits because I do like the matte look. It looks kind of like paint and they just look very nice, both in video and in person. But this right here, this is what it looked like with a little bit of panel lining. Panel lining is just taking one of these markers and then just lining the segments on this. All I did was line up some of the whites so you can see the creases in the uniform, and I did add a little bit to the ears, mouth, and to the hair to actually cause a little bit of a shadowing effect just to bring it to the next level visually. But besides that, this is pretty much what you get, and I am so impressed. Onto those accessories. Onto the accessories now, and here's absolutely everything that comes in the box besides what is attached to her. So what we've got is 2 alternate faces, once again not including the one that we've already had on her. The best thing in here by far, the Haro. 6 alternate hands, not including the 2 already attached to her, and we've got a full Action Base 6, as in a pre-release of the Action Base 6 that isn't actually out until later this month. So first up, taking a look at the face options we have in here. These are face plates, and we've got 3 in total. The first one we have is the one that's been on the whole time. This is the resting face. This one is definitely the best of the bunch because it is actually printed onto the face and there is no outline of the eyes whatsoever. They're mildly shiny compared to the matte face itself, and it just looks phenomenal. The other options we have in here is one with a kind of like O-shaped mouth and one with a kind of like, I guess like D-shaped mouth, if you get what I mean. Basically then on top of that you have the choice of eyes. We've got a whole bunch of eyes in here. You can use the A eyes with the A face. You can use the B eyes with the B face or the C eyes with the C face. I mixed them up just to see what you'd end up getting. And first up, what is essentially meant to be the happy face with some happy eyes, I actually swapped it out to have the angry eyes, so she's got angry eyes with a happy mouth, which kind of gives it a bit of a devilish expression. I will mention I've noticed that the eyes might be a little bit on the low side, making it look a little bit, like a kind of knockoff or something, but I will mention, we do get a whole bunch of these inside of the box, so if you do screw it up once, you can actually remove these quite easily, just with extra water, reactivate them, take them off, and you can just pop on some other ones. We've got some looking left, some looking right, some closed, some open, a whole bunch. So if you do screw up the first time, you've got plenty of tries to get it right. The last expression then is I threw the happy eyes, or whatever you'd call them, onto the angry face, and what we end up is kind of like a surprised or shocked kind of expression. So mixing them up is really cool. This is probably why Bandai actually included so many in here, so you can mix and match and do whatever you want. I'll also mention we do have the eyes for using with the standard face that is in here. So if you ever wanted to completely paint your kit, including painting over the original eyes, you do have eyes to pop over your paint in case you want to do that. So Bandai has thought of everything here. So now moving on to the included hands we have in here. And first off is the widespread dynamic hands we've had the whole time. These are really nice. The sculpt is nice. We've got very nice joints which allow them to swivel at both the wrist of the hand and the arm, as well as flex and extend a little bit too. I will mention they're slightly rubbery. Not really, you're not going to really get much out of them, but it means that they're not going to kind of permanently bend if they get kind of mashed a little bit. So we do have some alternate hands as well in here. There's a pair of each of these, even though I'm going to be just doing one hand per each. First off, we've got this widespread hand with a little bit of a peg attachment for it. This, of course, you can stick anything that has a peg hole onto this, but this is for the awesome included little Haro. As for the next option, we've got this right here, which is a holding hand. This particular kit does not have anything included to hold onto with this hand. However, Bandai know their target audience incredibly well, and this is pretty much the size of all high-grade weaponry. So I just take Ariel's rifle here, slap it in the hand, and it fits absolutely perfectly. Again, left and right of both of what you just saw. The little Haro in here is absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the coolest accessories I've ever seen with a Gundam kit, and Bandai, you better make a feckin' lock-on, that's all I can say. But yeah, this has opening flaps in the side, there's stickers for the detail inside of it. As for the line in the eyes and all that, I just panel line those to darken them up so you can see them a little bit better, and you don't necessarily have to have this inner hand. This is a standard peg hole in the bottom of it, so you can slap it onto an action base like this. This is the action base 6 that comes included in the box, as in, this is a pre-release of what will be soon released by Bandai themselves. There's 2 in a box, or probably a packet, when they do get released. Now, I'm just going to mention, the reason I tend to use this stand right here in these reviews as opposed to the one that is included is just because it's easy to move around, it's very super smooth, it's tied, it doesn't wiggle, and the reason I just use it is because it's easy to set up shots. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the included stand, it's quite nice, it's just a little bit kind of rubbery to the actual movement on it. I feel like you could snap it if you use it too much, and I want something I can move around a lot, and this is screws in it too so you can tighten it for heavier kits. But this included stand is absolutely awesome and perfect. But I digress, I totally wandered away from the hands onto all the rest of the accessories. So lastly, we do have a, well, I wouldn't really call it a fist in here. This is more of a kind of closed hand than the widespread ones we would have seen before. Also, just for the sake of trying out some more accessories, I'm going to grab the beam saber from the aerial back here. This fits into her hand as well, so pretty much any of the accessories you would have seen with Ariel, maybe a lot of other gunpla out there, will work with the holding hands in this kit, which is awesome. Now let's move on to the articulation. So finally moving on to the articulation. Now first I'm going to shake the hell out of this to show that this is not going to move out of any pose you put it in. Maybe the head? No, not at all, not a bit. And also this is super lightweight, there is absolutely no weight to it whatsoever. So anyway, getting Suletta into that usual pose I do to test all of the joints out once, and as you can see, this is good. It's passable, but it is not ridiculously over the top. So we do have some limitations in general with this, but you will get the vast majority of the nice poses you want out of it. I find what is the most limited is the hips, which don't really kick up too far or anything like that, and the ab crunch zone. So basically Bandai must have made the decision to keep the uniform intact as opposed to segmenting it up to allow for more articulation. So whether you like the looks over the articulation, that is definitely where the kind of argument about this would actually come in. But on the whole, you're going to get some decent poses out of it. Nice jumping poses, kneeling poses. You'll get all sorts of standing poses, but you won't get any kind of over-the-top crunches, backflips, those sort of things. But you will get what you need. For example, if you take the image that's on the box right here, or should I say on the manual, you will pull this off perfectly. Now, I will mention, the wrists are difficult on this, so removing them can be quite a hassle. I recommend a tweezers, or they'll get stuck in the body, or should I say in the wrists all of the time. Just be gentle, use the tweezers, and you should get everything and pull this off perfectly. Now, I will mention, just after looking at the picture in the manual, I did realize there are a couple of color inaccuracies on this. For example, we don't have the lining on the boots, we don't have lining on the wrists, and the inside of the sleeves should be in yellow. So once again, this could maybe be a deal breaker for you, but a little paint, and that'll sort that out. Anyway, moving on to what was requested. So Bandai know exactly what they're doing right here by making this exactly the same size as this. For one, you can throw them up in your shelf and they'll look absolutely phenomenal together, but the other thing is, I assume the joints are going to be 100% compatible. So swap out that arm, pop out this one, pop it all out even, and I'm assuming this should fit. And yes, it most certainly does. Damn. Winter Soldier, eat your heart out. So there we go, Suletta looking like she's about to bash some faces entirely in. That is so cool that that works. I'm not sure if the hips are the same because I don't think it is ball joints that is on the Gundam. If I remember correctly, it is just pegs, so popping that off, and yeah, that's a completely different setup right there, but I assume maybe that neck is the same? Well, that neck is definitely the same as something, but it may not be the same as this. Let's see. Can we pop that head on here? Out of the way. Pop that on. Yeah, not quite. This doesn't actually fit. It's just kind of on there. If I pushed any harder, I think it would stress out and destroy the joints. But there we go. We've got a Gundam-headed Suletta. And just get the Pro Tools out for this. That is a little bit of blue tack. And there we go. Damn. That actually works out really well. Better than I was expecting it to. That looks great. The colors match. Okay. I kind of want to leave it like that. So at this point I was actually going to use the Suletta right here with some 30-minute sisters. The Type C color, I can't remember her name, I'll pop it up on the screen right now, this one right here. apparently has the same or similar skin tone to this particular model kit, and it does have white armor, so it would have matched well with some of the Gundam parts. But it turns out the last time I actually reorganized the Gundam collection that you can see right here, the review space, I actually moved them somewhere and I don't know where they are. So yeah, they're gone completely AWOL. They used to be up on my unicorn bust, but they're not there anymore. I looked in the crate I keep all my 30-minute missions and 30-minute sisters parts in, but it seems that filled up and I must have popped them into another box somewhere else and I have no idea where they are. So I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. Now, when it comes to the actual ranking that I'm going to give this kit right here, this one's a little bit difficult for, well, two reasons. Bandai did so much great things with this kit that they've never done before, but at the same time I feel like they've missed some of the basics. So we've got some great stickers, some nice decals for using with some cool faces, and the pre-printed face is really awesome. The rubberized hands is nice too, but I feel like they did miss some of the very basic aspects which are important. The articulation here is very basic. Basic at best. It would have been nice to get a little bit more, and we are missing some critical colors on here, like the yellow inside of the sleeves, as well as some of the grey on the boots. Sure, you can paint these up to actually match the color they're meant to be, but it feels like they could have put a little bit more in there. But if you think about it, which is better? Which is simpler to pull off? Painting the inside of some sleeves and some boots, or trying to stick stickers on a face, or using gold stickers on the body? So I think they went the right direction with what they chose to do. However, it does average out in the end to me to be gold tier. Now the main question is, will they actually release any of the male characters from the series like Guel? I want a kit of Guel. That's what I want. I want that. Now if they release that, I'll give that Gundarium tier. But anyway, as always, if you do want one of your own, I got this from Hobby Link Japan, link in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gundam related reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and every video would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos. And special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and on the channel members, including Caleb Engelhart, Global Frequency Studios, Go Little Rockstar, Gunpla UK Limited, Joe, Kill Me Inc., Lawrence Seahack, RG59061, and Van Fawn.